violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Disturbing details emerging now. The scene Saturday night was chaotic with multiple crime scenes in multiple areas. On Saturday at approximately 7 p.m., Temple police officer Christopher Fitzgerald attempted to stop two individuals in the 1700 block of Montgomery Avenue after a robbery near Temple's campus.
Damn.
Investigators say the suspects ran and a foot chase followed with Officer Fitzgerald in pursuit. One of the suspects, allegedly 18-year-old Miles Pfeffer, repeatedly ignored and disregarded Officer Fitzgerald's orders, and a struggle developed.
So, there you have it. There you have it. This is the glider gremlin of the hour. Police, aka cop killer. Philly is rough, y'all. Philly is rough, man. Everybody killing over there. These glider gremlins are on demon time.
Officer Fitzgerald's orders, and a struggle developed. Officer Fitzgerald was allegedly shot by that suspect. According to sources, he was shot multiple times in the face and head area.
Damn.
Pfeffer is also alleged to have attempted to rob Officer Fitzgerald of his gun and to have gone through his pockets while the officer lay dying on the ground. That same suspect is alleged to have committed a carjacking a short time after the shooting. Officer Christopher Fitzgerald later died at Temple University Hospital. Nearly 12 hours after that deadly shooting at 7 a.m. on Sunday, the U.S. Marshal's Office took Pfeffer into custody at his home on Quarry Road in Buckingham. The DA's office has charged Pfeffer with murder of a law enforcement officer, robbery, carjacking, and other related offenses.
Woo! Yeah, he going down. He is going down, and we already know that Philly is out of control right now. So much going on. So little law enforcement. Their hands completely tied behind their backs. And this is the result of that, okay? This is the result.
Well, investigators did spend Sunday combing through evidence at the Bucks County home. Sources tell CBS News Philadelphia that multiple weapons were taken from the property.
Students that saw the latest. I heard from the roommate of the 21-year-old student attacked. Fortunately, he told me he is physically doing okay, but this appears to be another random incident that has some students nervous.
It's really frightening.
Senior Bailey Lychak is one of the many Temple University students that saw the latest disturbing video involving an attack on a student. It shows three people quickly approaching the victim. The victim puts his arm out and one of the attackers swings at him.
Damn.
Appearing to laugh.
It's very close to me, and it's really scary because...
So these are the types of things that are going on Temple University's campus. We've had multiple shootings within the past 6 months. And it's really disheartening because it really wasn't like that before the spring or summer of 2020, if you will. And then everything's kind of just exploded. It's just exploded from there. So very interesting to see how this goes, but I kind of wanted to give you guys a feel on what was going on in Philly on Temple University's campus.
Because things have been getting a lot worse around here. You definitely go out on the streets thinking like it could definitely happen to me. I've obviously prepared like a plan in my mind if it were to happen, and that's something that I feel like students shouldn't have to think about.
The university confirmed Philadelphia police are investigating. Keep Us Safe at Temple U Instagram was the first to share the video, saying they got a report from the victim's roommate that three teenagers tried to steal the student's car, threw cement at him, shattered his back window, and then threw cement at their apartment.
It just seems like people are attacking to attack. I mean,
Senior John Mangan runs the Instagram account. He's close friends with the victim's roommate.
It kind of shows that you hear about students being victims.
And you see, if this was the other way around and it was 3 white boys jumping on this, jumping on a young Sun man, the optics would just be so much different and we'd be having such a different conversation. But since it's 3 usual suspects jumping on this young glider, college educated glider, then it's no biggie. He's pretty much paying his reparation dues, and you know, he's atoning for his white guilt.
But it can only be so long until maybe somebody you know or even yourself finds yourself in harm's way.
Students say they did not receive a TU alert. In a statement, a university spokesman said in part that Philadelphia police received the 911 call since the incident happened outside of Temple's patrol zone. But a Temple police supervisor did check in on the student and took an internal report.
It kind of makes me really frustrated because a large percent of the student body lives in this area, but it's out of their patrol zone.
From a technicality standpoint, it's very fair, I think. But at the same time, from an ethical standpoint, you would think there'd be more of an effort there.
Now, Philadelphia police say they are also investigating a carjacking on Sunday night on North 19th Street, only blocks away from this incident, where 4 people approached a 22-year-old man, one of them with a gun, demanding his car and phone. Police have not said if the incidents are connected. Reporting in North Philadelphia, I'm Kelly Rule, Fox 29 News.
Action News reporter Sharifa Jackson live outside police headquarters with the very latest on the 18-year-old suspect who was arrested in Bucks County this morning. Sharifa.
Yeah, Jillian, it took about 12 hours for authorities to make this arrest. We're told that U.S. Marshals, they surrounded the Bucks County home of this 18-year-old suspect, Miles Pfeffer, and they took him into custody without incident. These were the moments in Buckingham Township when accused murderer Miles Pfeffer was taken away by U.S. Marshals this morning. Authorities say the 18-year-old deliberately and fatally shot at Temple University officer Christopher Fitzgerald after a short pursuit and struggle on North 18th Street near Temple University's campus. According to court records obtained by Action News, Officer Fitzgerald was initially responding to reports of a robbery when he first encountered Pfeffer.
All right, all units available, please clear Broad Street. We got a report of an officer down here route to Temple.
After the shooting, authorities say Pfeffer stood over the officer and shot him several more times in the head.
Damn, so he just straight executed, bruh. Man's a freaking savage. And this just goes to show that everybody's emboldened. It's not just in the community. And that's the scary part.
While he lay on the ground before he unsuccessfully attempted to rob Officer Fitzgerald of his service weapon and went through his pockets. We spoke to U.S. Marshal Robert Clark, who was there when Pfeffer was caught. He says Pfeffer was apprehended using Officer Fitzgerald's handcuffs.
That's a tradition that we do anytime there's a fallen officer.
Documents take us through just how they were able to track Pfeffer down using the help of surveillance and other video. Shortly after the fatal shooting, video appears to show Pfeffer carjacking someone. That stolen car was found dumped at North 30th Street and Sedgley Avenue before he would make his way almost.
And guys, I told you about these carjackings. They're not really even doing anything with them. They're not chopping them up. They're not, it's just for no reason.
Almost an hour away to Bucks County. Sources tell us the suspect told investigators he melted the gun he used in the crime. Chopper 6 was above as officers sifted through this fire pit.
Melting the gun is different.
Action News is also told authorities recovered several weapons from the property. And we're also learning that Pfeffer was accompanied by 2 other people when this incident first began, but so far no word on who those other individuals were.
So no word on the other individuals that was rolling with him. I mean, does anybody have a guess on who that could have been? Let me know.
He's facing a long list of charges, including murder of a law enforcement officer, as well as other weapon charges. He's being held without bail. We're live from Philadelphia Police Headquarters, Sharifa Jackson, for Action News at 10 on PHL 17.
Okay, thank you, Sharifa. I'm Yuki Washington.
I'm Jessica Cartalia. Officer Fitzgerald was killed Saturday night. We're learning more about the suspect and the investigation.
Chief Investigative Reporter Joe Holden is at police headquarters with new information tonight. Joe?
Good evening. Tonight, the heart of a city heavy with grief as an officer's life ended short, police say, by an 18-year-old teen from Bucks County. As the city plans to say farewell and Godspeed to fallen officer Chris.
And that officer's hairline was crispy. So, dang, man, it's sad. It's sad that they pushed his wig back. Looks like this is a Hispanic man as well. I'm sure they're not going to scream white supremacy for this one. Why? Because he is a police officer. All right. And this guy deserves, you know, a lot more recognition because he is coming from the Comunitino and trying to create a better Philly for not only himself, but his family and his friends. And he wants to turn the city, or he wanted to turn the city into something that he could look back on and say, hey, man, we didn't lose this fight. We didn't lose our city to these super gremlins on demon time.
Christopher Fitzgerald, an 18-year-old, now is in custody of the Philadelphia Department of Prisons, an inmate at Karen Fromhold Correctional Facility. Miles Pfeffer is charged in the murder of Officer Fitzgerald, a crime that shocked an entire city.
Clear traffic. Officer down.
The series of events began 7 o'clock Saturday night. Officer Fitzgerald, on patrol near Temple, encounters Pfeffer and starts chasing. The two eventually struggle when court documents allege Pfeffer shoots Fitzgerald in the head. Once down, it's alleged Pfeffer continues firing on the officer. Seasoned defense attorney Fortunato Perry, who has no connection to the case, concedes it will be difficult to defend.
This is a cold-blooded killing, and from the accounts I've heard with respect to what's captured on video, he stands over this poor young man and fires several shots into him when he's laying on the ground.
Wow. That is heartless, man.
That's a horrific circumstance when someone's trying to defend this type of conduct.
Pfeffer was already on juvenile probation at the time of the murder. His mother picked him up afterwards, according to Pfeffer's arrest papers. The extent of her role on Saturday night is under investigation.
And he was already on juvenile probation. You can't make this stuff up. The second chances are killing us, literally.
According to sources. Those sources also say Pfeffer allegedly told investigators when they arrived at his Buckingham Township home that he destroyed the possible murder weapon in a fire pit. Former District Attorney Lynn Abraham cautioned not to believe the case will be easily prosecuted.
We don't want to push this case where everybody says, oh, well, it's open and shut. There's nothing to it. No, no, no. Officer Fitzgerald and his family and the citizens of Philadelphia deserve more. They deserve the most thorough, complete investigation.
And when the U.S. Marshals descended upon Pfeffer's Bucks County residence on Sunday morning, they used Officer Fitzgerald's handcuffs to take him into custody. For now, we're live outside Philadelphia Police Headquarters. This is Joe Holden, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Authorities descended on Pfeffer's Buckingham Township home to take him into custody, and they've been searching for evidence. Our Alicia Roberts has that part of the story.
Chico.
Sources close to the investigation tell me multiple weapons were seized from this historic farm along Quarry Road Sunday afternoon. Officials searched the home of 18-year-old Miles Pfeffer on the grounds of the historic Boxley Farm just hours after Pfeffer was taken into custody.
And I do want to go back on that shirt. Is this a YSL hoodie? Not like, is it? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it definitely looks like a YSL hoodie.
Grounds of the historic Boxley Farm just hours after Pfeffer was taken into custody by the Buckingham Police Department, Central Bucks Special Response Team, and Philadelphia Police, along with U.S. Marshals.
We were able to get the house surrounded. They were able to get compliance and take the suspect into custody without incident.
U.S. Marshals shared these photos of Pfeffer's arrest. Officers used Fitzgerald's handcuffs on the suspect as he was taken back to Philadelphia Police Headquarters.
That's a tradition that we do anytime there's a fallen officer, and we felt it was important to remember Officer Fitzgerald by once again placing his cuffs on the suspect.
Local police sources say Miles Pfeffer is known to officers in the area for what they describe as nuisance crimes. Neighbors say the family moved in.
So nuisance crimes escalating to cold-blooded murder. Man, I don't know. I guess you didn't really see this one coming, but he did have 2 other people with him. So, you know, we need to figure out the company that he kept.
About 4 years ago, and that they've seen police at the residence several times since.
I really don't know them, even though they're so close. Everybody keeps themselves around in their country, you know, mostly. They have been noisy at times.
With vehicles and stuff?
Motorcycles and things like that in the field, yeah.
Police also tell CBS 3 the SPCA was called to the property as part of the search to check on several animals. Right now, they're being cared for by SPCA officials. Alicia Roberts, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Our coverage begins this evening with Joe Holden. He has the very latest on the investigation from police headquarters. Joe?
Yuki, good afternoon to you. A city united in heartbreak and grief. Funeral arrangements are still pending for the late officer Christopher Fitzgerald. His vicious killing, described on Saturday night by both veteran prosecutors and longtime criminal defense attorneys as a cold-blooded killing. And those radio transmissions screaming out Saturday night for an officer down over police dispatch. Fitzgerald had been on patrol within Temple University police coverage area when arrest records show he encountered 2 people, one of them now identified as Miles Pfeffer, the other his brother. The struggle began after a brief chase. That's when court documents show Miles Pfeffer began firing a handgun at Officer Fitzgerald. He collapsed after he was struck in the head. The shooting continued with Pfeffer standing over the officer, according to the criminal complaint. The entirety of the killing captured by multiple surveillance cameras.
Damn.
It's alleged the 18-year-old defendant then rifled through the officer's pockets as he lay wounded on the pavement. It's also alleged the defendant tried unsuccessfully to retrieve Fitzgerald's service weapon. Police say their suspect then carjacked a man, escaping the area in a stolen vehicle. Court papers say he eventually called his mom for a ride. Once back at their Buckingham Township home, sources say the defendant claimed he destroyed a firearm in a
Damn, and his Ma Dukes brought him back to the crib. That's crazy.
burn pit. He was taken into custody, charged with murder and a running list of crimes. He was arraigned at 3:18 exactly this morning. Police on Monday told me nobody else has been placed under arrest in connection to Officer Fitzgerald's murder. I am told the defendant's mother and the role she played in picking up her son are under investigation. There could be charges, according to police. We spoke with veteran attorneys today, former longtime District Attorney Lynn Abraham and Defense Attorney Fortunato Perry.
After he shoots this officer who's trying to interrupt a crime, whether it's a carjacking, a robbery, or both, he shoots him, he falls to the ground, then he shoots him some more. And then tries to take his gun and go through his pockets. Then he commits a carjacking to get back home. How did he get, I mean, I want to know a lot more than I know right now.
This is a cold-blooded killing. And from the accounts I've heard with respect to what's captured on video, he stands over this poor young man and fires several shots into him when he's laying on the ground. That's a horrific circumstance when someone's trying to defend this type of conduct.
And tonight, 18-year-old Miles Pfeffer is an inmate at the Karen Fromhold Correctional Facility. We have confirmed that he was on juvenile probation at the time of Saturday evening's murder. For what? Juvenile court records are sealed in Pennsylvania, so it is an unspecified conviction at this time.
Damn.
We also have been searching high and low for if he has representation of an attorney at this point. Court records do not list one. We will be back at 5 with more on this developing investigation. For now, we're live outside Philadelphia Police Headquarters. This is Joe Holden, CBS News, Philadelphia.
All right, Joe, thank you so much. Disturbing details emerging now.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe, hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me?
Right now on Action News at noon, the suspect in the killing of a Temple University police officer appears in court for the first time. New photos show 18-year-old Miles Pfeffer being transported to a correctional facility this morning. The big story in Action News is the investigation into the murder of Temple officer Christopher Fitzgerald.
That's right. Fitzgerald was shot and killed after responding to reports of a robbery near campus on Saturday night. And we have team coverage of the heartbreaking news that is spreading throughout the community. We begin with Action News reporter Catherine Scott with the latest on the case against Pfeffer.
Today, Miles Pfeffer remains in custody. He is not eligible for bail. These photos from Temple University police show Miles Pfeffer being transported to Curran-Fromhold Correctional Facility early this morning. The 18-year-old has now been arraigned, formally charged with murder and murder of a police officer. Pfeffer was taken into custody early Sunday morning at his family's Buckingham Township home, 12 hours after the fatal shooting of Temple University police officer Christopher Fitzgerald.
We had officers, Fitzgerald's handcuffs with them, and they were placed on our suspect as we brought him back to police headquarters. We felt it was important to remember Officer Fitzgerald.
Court records show Officer Fitzgerald first encountered Pfeffer when responding to reports of a robbery near Temple's campus on Saturday night. A short pursuit and struggle ensued. After the initial shooting, authorities say Pfeffer stood over the officer who lay on the ground and shot him several more times before Pfeffer went through the officer's pockets and unsuccessfully attempted to rob Fitzgerald of his service weapon.
Damn.
All right, all units available. Please clear Ball Street. We got a report of Odysse down your route to Temple.
Law enforcement used surveillance video to help track down Pfeffer that appears to show Pfeffer committing a carjacking shortly after the fatal shooting. The stolen car was found dumped at North 30th and Sedgley. Authorities spent much of the day yesterday searching Pfeffer's Bucks County family home. Sources say the suspect told investigators he melted the gun he used in the crime. Chopper 6 was above as officers sifted through this fire pit. Action News has also told authorities recovered several weapons from the property. Court records indicate a preliminary hearing is scheduled for March. At police headquarters, Catherine Scott, Channel 6 Action News.
Good evening. I'm Aziza Schuler. There's new information about last night's deadly encounter blocks off Temple's campus, where a memorial for police officer and father to 4 children, Chris Fitzgerald, now sits. We have team coverage tonight from Philadelphia Police Headquarters and the suspect's home in Bucks County. Let's start with Matt Petrillo, who is live in Spring Garden. Matt, what can you tell us tonight?
Aziza, investigators here say they have the man who shot Officer Fitzgerald. Right now, they are going through a series of events that led to that deadly shooting as the officer's family tries to cope with their loss.
He didn't deserve this. He didn't deserve this.
The family of Temple University officer Chris Fitzgerald says he was taken from them too soon.
I just prayed that, you know, this ain't true. And then we got the news when he had died in the hospital after surgery.
Dang.
Investigators say Fitzgerald tried to stop a suspect, 18-year-old Miles Pfeffer, but he disregarded Fitzgerald's commands to stop. When Fitzgerald caught up, police say a fight broke out between him and the suspect. An affidavit of probable cause obtained by CBS News Philadelphia through sources shows Fitzgerald is heard repeatedly on security camera video telling the suspect to get on the ground.
And that's why a lot of cops are just shooting first, asking questions later, because it's their lives on the line. And this is what can happen.
But, quote, the male suspect is then seen firing a handgun at police officer Fitzgerald, who falls to the ground. The male then stands over Fitzgerald, who fires several more shots into his face and head area.
Damn.
The male then reaches down and attempts to take the officer's service weapon, but can't seem to get the weapon out of the holster. He also searches the unresponsive officer's pockets. The affidavit goes on to allege Pfeffer then carjacked someone. After the shooting, Pfeffer allegedly went to 29th and Ridge. It's there, according to the affidavit, that, quote, Miles Pfeffer was later picked up by his mother and driven to Buckingham Bucks County. Meantime, the officer's family is in mourning.
Not all heroes wear capes, and Chris definitely was a hero to this community. He just didn't have a cape.
And that is what so many people in the Temple community have been telling us today. Now, Pfeffer's mother is not accused of any wrongdoing, but police tell us 2 other men are in custody being questioned right now, including Pfeffer's brother. He was with Pfeffer before the shooting and also helped officers identify Pfeffer in security video. That murder suspect is charged with murder, robbery, theft, and other offenses. Reporting live outside Philadelphia Police Headquarters, Matt Petrillo. Aziza, back to you.
Thank you, Matt.
Hero, a husband, and a father. Tributes are pouring in for the Temple police officer who was killed while trying to stop a robbery on Saturday night.
Officer Christopher Fitzgerald's alleged killer is now behind bars.
She go to the left.
Following an intense manhunt that required multiple law enforcement agencies to join forces.
We have team coverage this morning. Action News reporter Catherine Scott has more details on the arrest. And we start with Corey Davis, live near the scene of the shooting, where a memorial has been growing for the fallen officers. Corey, it sounds like he touched so many different communities.
Yeah, Tam, he really did. And over the course of the morning, the memorial continues to grow. You can see behind us here just how large it is right now. In fact, a few minutes ago, someone stopped and dropped off some flowers here at the corner of West Montgomery Avenue and North Bouvier Street. This is a block from where Temple police officer Christopher Fitzgerald was shot and killed Saturday night. One of his close friends and fellow officer tells us more about his love for the community.
Chris was always front and center with me. Any videos or anything you look at, he was there just chanting miles up, guns down, don't shoot, save the youth. And he would give up overtime and put in vacation time when he knew that that was the weekly run, just so that he could fulfill that commitment to the community.
And also,
so there you have it. Somebody trying to give back. Somebody trying to, show that the community can change. And he was taken out by this glider gremlin on demon time.
Too, here's a look at some video of Officer Fitzgerald running with a group making stops in the community, speaking out against violence. It's been an emotional time out here at the memorial for that fallen Temple police officer. We're being told Fitzgerald was killed while trying to intervene in a robbery Saturday night around 7 at North 17th and West Montgomery Avenue near Temple's campus. He was patrolling alone and was shot in the head during the incident.
Damn.
Just 31 years old at the time. Family say Fitzgerald had been working to protect the community since he was 19. The outpouring of support here at the memorial near where he was killed just shows the impact he had on the community. We're being told that Officer Fitzgerald leaves behind a wife, 4 kids, as well as his parents. Right now, funeral plans are still being finalized. We'll definitely stay on top of that and let you know as soon as that information is announced. But now reporting live here in North Philadelphia, Corey Davis, Channel 6 Action News. Tam.
Thinking about all those who loved him this morning. Thank you, Corey. The alleged shooter now in custody is an 18-year-old Bucks County man. The arrest documents detail a cold-blooded series of events. Police say Officer Fitzgerald was attacked and disrespected even after he was down. Action News reporter Catherine Scott continues our coverage live from police headquarters. Good morning.
Good morning, Tam. Miles Pfeffer was taken here to police headquarters. He faces a number of charges, including murder, and he is not eligible for bail.
All right, all units available, please clear Broad Street. We got a report of Odysse down your route to Temple.
12 hours after Saturday's fatal shooting of Temple University police officer Chris Phitzgerald, law enforcement surrounded the Buckingham Township home of Miles Pfeffer, and U.S. Marshals took the 18-year-old into custody. Court records show Fitzgerald first encountered Pfeffer when responding to reports of a robbery near Temple's campus. A short pursuit and struggle ensued. After the initial shooting, authorities say Pfeffer stood over the officer who lay on the ground and shot him several more times in
Just cold, man. This is crazy.
the head before Pfeffer went through the officer's pockets and unsuccessfully attempted to
And ran his pockets. Wild.
rob Fitzgerald of his service weapon. Shortly after the fatal shooting, video appears to show Pfeffer committing a carjacking. The stolen car found dumped at North 30th and Sedgley. Authorities spent much of the day yesterday searching Pfeffer's large family home. Sources say the suspect told investigators he melted the gun he used in the crime. Chopper 6 was above as officers sifted through a fire pit. Action News has also told authorities recovered several weapons from the property.
We had officers Fitzgerald's handcuffs with them, and they were placed on our suspect as we brought him back to police headquarters. We felt it was important to remember Officer Fitzgerald.
Acting Attorney General Michelle Henry released a statement about Officer Fitzgerald, who she said died a hero, bravely responding to a dangerous and volatile situation. She said, "I want to offer my sincere condolences to his family and loved ones who knew the danger he confronted in his job and supported him in his chosen profession, as do all families of law enforcement officers." We're live at police headquarters. Catherine Scott, Channel 6 Action News. Tam.
Now at 4 o'clock morning, a fallen hero. The memorial for the Temple University police officer Christopher Fitzgerald continues to grow right there in North Philadelphia. The 31-year-old father of 4 was shot and killed in the line of duty Saturday night. And today we are learning more about the 18-year-old accused of shooting and killing that officer. It is Monday afternoon. Brian and Sarah are off. I'm Gray Hall.
And I'm Shari Williams. The big story on Action News is the investigation into the murder that has sent shockwaves through the Temple University and law enforcement communities. Fitzgerald was shot while investigating a robbery in North Philadelphia around 7 o'clock Saturday night.
18-year-old Miles Pfeffer was arrested 12 hours later at his family's farm in Bucks County. Earlier today, he made his first appearance before.
And it looks like, you know, he comes from decent home. He just crashed out. And like I said, we have a crash out culture, crash out mentality. And you're close to these inner cities, and there's a heavy influence on the younger generation to crash out.
Poor judge.
We have live team coverage of this case as it is unfolding. Katie Castro is standing by at the growing memorial in North Philadelphia, where family members showed up a short time ago.
But we begin with Action News reporter Chad Daly live in Buckingham Township with more on what we are learning, Chad, about that suspect.
Yeah, Miles Pfeffer was known to police here in bucolic Bucks County, and according to multiple law enforcement sources, he was charged as a juvenile in a bomb threat case at a local high school as a juvenile. Photos released by Temple University police show Miles Pfeffer being transported to the Kern-Fromhold Correctional Facility early this morning after his arraignment on a slew of charges, including first-degree murder of a police officer. Authorities took the 18-year-old into custody early Sunday morning at his family's Buckingham Township farm, 12 hours after the fatal shooting of Temple University police officer Christopher Fitzgerald.
We had officers Fitzgerald's handcuffs with them, and they were placed on our suspect as we brought him back to police headquarters. And we felt it was important to remember Officer Fitzgerald.
Police say Fitzgerald was investigating a crime near the Temple campus border when he came in contact with Pfeffer. After a short pursuit, police say Pfeffer shot Fitzgerald, then stood over him and shot him at least 2 more times in the head. Police say he then tried to steal the dead cop's holstered gun before carjacking a motorist and fleeing.
All right, all units available. Please clear Wallace Street. We got a report of an officer down.
Law enforcement sources say Pfeffer was known to police in Bucks County. As a juvenile, he was arrested and charged with terroristic threats related to a bomb threat at CB South High School in 2021. Sources say Pfeffer recently got off probation for that crime. The Bucks County.
Wow, so he actually put in a bomb threat at his high school. That's crazy. Run it back.
To police in Bucks County. As a juvenile, he was arrested and charged with terroristic threats related to a bomb threat at CB South High School in 2021. Sources say Pfeffer recently got off probation for that crime. The Bucks County District Attorney's Office would not confirm that, telling Action News it had no comment. The Central Bucks School District says Pfeffer was a student in the district until September of 2019, which would have likely been his freshman year. Where he went to school afterwards is unclear. While his mother lives on the farm, Pfeffer's father lives on the 2900 block of Ridge Avenue in Strawberry Mansion, which may explain Pfeffer's travels in Philadelphia. And Pfeffer is being held without bail. His preliminary hearing is scheduled for March 7th. Live in Buckingham Township, Chad Prudelli, Channel 6, Action News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? After being worked in schools,